Do you remember the milk products they sell, or do you think it's chocolate brands? Perhaps it's coffee or it's ice cream that you might also think of your childhood memories, or trick-or-treating, or do you think if it's unethical promotion of baby formula? The water crisis or pollution, if you thought of any of those descriptions, you were not wrong, because all of those are accurate illustrations of Nestle. Welcome to Boss Cube. Today in this video, we'll delve into the story of Nestle. We cannot deny that the company had a far-reaching impact on the commercial food industry, but they were also a controversial company. Nestle is big curious about how big Nestle is. Nestle's story starts with the invention of condensed milk when American brothers Charles and George Page invented condensed milk and started their company called Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company. This was also the root of Nestle. The company's factory was located in Schramm, Switzerland, and it began its operations in 1866. Why is the factory located in Europe and not America? Because they saw the growth of condensed milk in the United States. They wanted to manufacture milk near a large quality source. Switzerland was the country that was able to produce a large amount of high-quality fresh milk. The country was also the center of production for many milk-based products since the early 19th century. So the brothers set up their production facility. There, they had a factory that turned fresh milk into condensed milk, and condensed milk was a big deal. Why? Because it made milk last much longer. Okay, so remember, at this point, all the milk products of the company were created in Switzerland. They had always been intended for the English market. Then Anglo-Swiss opened its British factory in England in 1873, where they started supplying industrial towns in Europe with condensed milk under the brand Milkmaid. Milkmaid was marketed as a safe alternative to fresh milk that did not spoil easily. But before Anglo-Swiss had their British factory, another company was founded in 1867 in Switzerland. That is when Nestle starts their story. Henry Nestle was a pharmacist who launched Varin Lacti. This product meant flour with milk. What is it? It was baby food. They needed healthier food for babies, so Henry thought that he could create one that he developed, a baby formula made from cow's milk, wheat, flour, and sugar. This formula was made especially for infants who could not be breastfed and also combat the high mortality rate. At that time, cereal was so nutritious that it saved the life of a child after the product took off, and Henry began producing baby food on a large scale to make new products every day. He bought fresh milk each morning, but in 1869 this was no longer practical, so he now needed to purchase his milk supply from a collection center to have it delivered to his factory. This venture was successful because many babies were fed with his formula. This success was so evident that 8 years later, Nestle products were present across the globe in countries like Indonesia, Argentina, Egypt, and the United States. But in 1875, Henry sold his company as well as the factory in the way to 3 local businessmen. These businessmen wanted to improve their product, so they employed chemists and skilled workers to help expand production and sales. Around the same time, Nestle and Anglo-Swiss were both in fierce competition with each other's products. The company started selling rival versions of the other's original products. This meant that Nestle started selling condensed milk and Anglo-Swiss was selling baby formula. Both companies also expanded their sales abroad. They were really in fierce competition. If you love chocolates, you should think of Nestle for its role in the development of milk chocolate. In 1875, Daniel Peter and his family were already starting in the chocolate industry. Nestle supplied them with condensed milk to make the chocolates. It took years before Peter finally could finalize the recipe for the world's first milk chocolate in 1887. By 1901, there was such a high demand for this new chocolate that Peter couldn't keep up with it on his own. So the business was sold to Nestle by 1902, and Angeles West finally merged with Nestle. So in 1904, Peter and Nestle and Anglo-Swiss agreed to produce chocolate with high sugar and less cocoa, which was sold as Nestle chocolate. In 1914, World War I led to an increased demand for condensed milk and chocolate. However, there was a shortage of raw materials and limits on cross-border trade, so it restricted production for Nestle and Anglo-Swiss when the war ended in 1921. The demand for cat mail declined, so it posed a major crisis for Nestle and Animal Swiss. The merger of Anglo-Swiss and Nestle was only completed in 1929. In the same year, another problem would occur. The market crashed, causing the start of a Great Depression. How was the company affected by the Great Depression's reduced consumer buying power, which threatened the company? Once again, when the market crashed, coffee prices also crashed with it. So the bank had a huge amount of coffee. They couldn't sell for a profit. They reached out to Nestle and asked them if they could come up with a way to preserve the coffee and help save their investment. It took Nestle around 4 years before their chemists finally came up with a method of turning coffee into a powder that could be rehydrated. Nescafé was launched in Switzerland in 1938 and 29 more countries by 1940. It was timely when World War II kicked off and many people were looking for a way to keep coffee part of their routine. The demand for instant coffee was so hyped that the company opened more production facilities. Nestle frozen foods and ice creams entered the market during the 1960s. The ice cream business expanded in the 1990s when Nestle acquired the licensing rights to Häagen-Dazs. In 2018, Nestle sold their confectioner Every business to Ferrero for $2.8 billion, which included candies like Butterfinger, Baby Ruth, Snow Caps, Gobstopper, Laffy Taffy Sweethearts, and Nerds. But Kit Kat wasn't included in the sale. The story of Nestle is a story of two companies and a merger that made sense, and even though Nestle sold their confectionery business, they are still growing. Nestle is currently the world's largest food and beverage company. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment sharing your thoughts and insights. And if you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the following video.